I get a lot of messages from gamers who love the idea of a desktop-class machine that they can actually carry, but they're also worried about throwing six figures at a laptop that might turn out to be a glorified brick. The hesitation usually comes from three things: will the performance really match the headline numbers, will the heat and battery life ruin long sessions, and whether the price actually buys something you'll use day-to-day or just a brag-worthy spec sheet. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's set the scene for the gaming laptop market in 2025. Over the past couple of years, every new release has tried to squeeze more cores, faster GPUs, and higher refresh displays into the same thin chassis. That means you've got to balance raw power against things like weight, thermals, and how long the battery will hold when you're on a train or in a coffee shop. The Lenovo Legion Pro 7i Gen 10 lands right in the middle of that tension. It's built around a 24-core Intel Ultra 9275HX and an RTX 5080 with 16GB of GDDR7, paired with a 16-inch OLED panel that pushes 240Hz. Those are impressive numbers, but what do they actually mean when you sit down to play Starfield or edit a 4K video on a weekend? If you're the type who streams while you game, the extra cores on the Ultra 9 are a real benefit. I've run a simultaneous 1080p stream on OBS while playing Elden Ring at max settings, and the CPU never hit a wall. The 32GB of RAM and 2TB SSD also keep load times almost non-existent, so you can jump into a new world or open a massive Photoshop file without a noticeable pause. That kind of multitasking power is something you'll feel in everyday use, not just in benchmark numbers. The OLED display is another practical win. Its 240Hz refresh rate makes fast shooters feel buttery smooth, while the OLED panel gives deep blacks and vibrant HDR that you'll actually notice in games with a lot of contrast, like God of War Ragnarok. In a real-world test, I set the laptop on a desk, dimmed the room lights, and the shadows in a dark dungeon were truly distinguishable from the surrounding fog. That visual fidelity also translates well for creative work. Color grading a short video looked more accurate than on my older LCD laptop. Now, the cooling system is where the trade-off shows up. Lenovo uses a 175W TGP vapor chamber design with dual fans, which does a respectable job keeping the GPU under 85°C during a 30-minute gaming marathon. The fans spin up noticeably, and you'll hear a low whine, but it's not a distracting roar. However, if you push the machine for an hour plus of continuous 4K rendering, the temperatures climb into the low 90s, and the fan curve becomes more aggressive. In a practical sense, that means you'll want to keep the laptop on a hard surface with good airflow, and you might need an external cooling pad for marathon sessions. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a hidden cost in terms of comfort and noise. Battery life is the other realistic limitation. The 99WH cell can handle about 3 hours of mixed use, some browsing, a bit of video playback, and a light indie game. Once you crank up the RTX 5080 for a demanding AAA title, you're looking at roughly an hour before you need to plug in. For a gamer who expects to game on the couch without a power cord, this isn't a surprise. High-end laptops have always been tethered. If you're planning to use it primarily as a portable workstation, the battery will feel short, but the fast charging support, 80% in about an hour, mitigates the inconvenience if you can schedule a brief plug-in between tasks. Weight and size are also worth mentioning. At around 2.9 kilograms, the Legion Pro 7i is heavier than many ultra-portable laptops, but it's still manageable for a commuter who's used to carrying a backpack. The chassis feels solid, and the perky RGB keyboard offers good travel and anti-ghosting, which is nice for both gaming and typing long scripts. The keyboard's lighting can be synced to game events, but in everyday work the RGB is more of a personal aesthetic choice than a functional feature. So, who should consider spending on this machine? If you're a serious PC gamer who wants to play the latest titles at max settings while also streaming, editing video, or running demanding software on the go, the Legion Pro gives you a desktop-class experience in a portable form. Content creators who need accurate color reproduction and the ability to render quickly will appreciate the OLED panel and the multi-core CPU. Professionals who travel often but still require serious horsepower for presentations, CAD work, or data analysis will find the combination of performance and connectivity, Wi-Fi 7, Thunderbolt 5, compelling. Who might skip it? Casual gamers who are happy with 1080p, 60Hz experiences.